is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. Today we're back with my 2005 Dodge Viper that I thought I got for a steal of a deal. I got it for $39,000. The last one of these I bought 2 years ago ended up costing me over $50,000. Now, there are a lot of internet experts out there that have told me I did not get a good deal on this car. I have been told that this car was a horrible deal at $39,000 with 46,000 miles on the odometer. Needing work, of course. You're not going to get something this cheap without it needing work, guys. But if you're willing to do the work yourself, you can save a ton of money. I've had so many people telling me I got ripped off. This was a total waste. I've even had people tell me the Dodge Viper is nothing but junk. Can you imagine that? A Dodge Viper is junk. Junk of 500 horsepower, 8.3 liter V10 with a manual transmission in a tiny little lightweight car is junk. I'm not gonna lie, I have never heard anybody before say that a Dodge Viper is junk until I brought this car to the channel. Now suddenly, everybody's an expert. The truth is, I still think I got a great deal on this car, and the reason why is because I can do all the work myself. When you're not paying a shop or a specialty place to work on this car, it makes it a whole lot more manageable, financially that is, to do it yourself. It's really not that difficult of a car to work on. In fact, we have already gone through and replaced the upper and lower radiator hoses, all of the coolant with G05, what is it, Xerox? I don't remember what it was. G05, we've replaced the valve cover gaskets on both sides. We've replaced all 10 of the spark plugs. We still have work to do. Today, I don't know how far I'm gonna get, but I would like to replace the serpentine belt. Even though it doesn't really look like it needs replaced, we're going to go ahead and replace it because I bought one for it anyway. I also want to do a flush on the engine because I don't know how long it had been since since the last person changed the oil. Now, we've just gotten through changing the oil and filter, but I'm going to do it again. We've got Liqui-Moly Proline Engine Flush. We're going to add 2 of these because this car takes 2 gallons of oil. We have the proper filter, and something really cool about this filter, guys. Let me pop this out for you. I think it's cool anyway. You guys may not agree with me, but come on, get out of there. Take a look. Okay, there we go. It actually says Viper on the filter. I don't know. I think that's pretty damn awesome, man. So we've got a new oil filter for it. This time I'm changing the oil. The engine's a little loud, all right? And that is very normal on these. I've had a lot of people tell me it's not normal, but we are going with 15W50 Mobil 1 instead of 0W40. I've got one oxygen sensor left to replace. It took a while for this one to come in because they sent me the wrong one. So we're going to replace the oxygen sensor. Going to do an engine flush, going to change the oil again, and we'll see where we're going to go from there. What I'm using right now is the AMSOIL. This is their signature, or synthetic, yeah, whatever, 0W40. There is nothing wrong with this oil. This is the weight that this engine originally called for, but after doing a ton of reviews online, looking at a ton of reviews online about what oil to use in your Viper, people say these engines are a little noisy, and it's true, and it can be a little bit aggravating. They say if you want to quiet it down, you are perfectly fine, at least in the summer, and let's be real, who's going to be driving their Viper in the winter? I'm not. It'll be put up for the winter, guys. I might not even have it in the winter. If you guys know me, this car may be gone by then. So for summertime, in the heat, 1550 is perfectly fine. It'll help quiet down the engine. We're going to flush that out a little bit. And hope that maybe when we're done, it quiets down some. My last Viper, same thing, man. It was the same type. It was the same car. It was red with black interiors in 03. Same generation, had the same type of engine issue. When you first start up, nice and quiet. After it gets nice and hot, and you've been driving it for a while, the engine gets chattery. Now, there's no metal that I've been able to find anywhere in the oil when I changed it. Nothing like that. It's just something to help quiet it down. And to help quiet it down a little bit more, well, we are going to be using this. I love these pouches from AMSOIL. This is manual transaxle gear lube 75W90. And I've had a lot of people say, that's the wrong oil for the car. You're right. And you're wrong. Originally, this transmission would have taken automatic transmission fluid. In fact, you can absolutely use ATF in it, and that's fine. You're going to want to use the Chrysler Dodge version. What is ATF? I think it's probably this ATF plus 4. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, what they found though is for noisy transmissions, as all of them are a little bit noisy, they decided to start using this manual transaxle lube. And this is straight from Dodge themselves. They will use 7590 instead of ATF. So I'm going to go with the modern day theory, which is this is better. This is going to be for the power steering fluid. This is going to be for the brake fluid and for the slave cylinder, or sorry, master cylinder for the clutch, which is right here. So I'm trying to decide where I want to start. We could start with warming this thing up, getting it up to operating temperature, pouring some motor flush in and changing the oil. We could start with changing the belt. We could start with changing some of these fluids. These are simple. I'm going to use a syringe. I'm not going to take everything out of it, but use a syringe, get it down pretty low, and then fill it up with fresh fluid, and then you drive it for a while, and then you do it again, wash, rinse, and repeat. Same thing with the power steering, just suck the old out and throw some new in. None of it particularly difficult, and today in this video, I'm finally going to change the battery. I found out it is not something you got to have to take the wheel off for. It is actually sitting in the trunk. All right, why don't we start with the I guess this is the master cylinder for the clutch. And I mean, honestly, it doesn't look the worst, but it definitely doesn't look too particularly great. Lovely, I just got brake fluid everywhere. Well, now you can see what it looks like. I mean, it's got a dark tint to it, but it's really not that bad. Let me get something to quickly clean this mess up before I start eating paint off of my car. All right, let's try this again. Here's what I'm gonna do. I've got this bottle, and I've got this pump, and I think we can just kind of shove the bottle, I mean, pretty much anywhere, as long as we don't break anything. There we go. We got this little adapter that goes onto the bottom here, and I think I can just kind of pump it in, and hopefully, with any luck, this works. We can just start kind of pumping. Oh yeah, there it goes. Now, I don't want to run it all the way to the bottom, because I don't want to get air into the system. So I'm going to stop right there. And we're going to add a little bit of this fresh brake fluid. And I'm going to do it again. Here we go. See how much cleaner this brake fluid is than what's in it? Much nicer. Much, much nicer. Look how much better that looks already. And there's gunk in there. Oh, that's disgusting. Gross. Take a look at the stuff that's like floating around in there. This definitely needed to be done. Now take a look at this. That is pretty nasty, guys. And some of that is mixed with fresh fluid. That's the crazy part. Now I'm gonna just keep doing this, and I'm gonna keep filling it up, and hopefully here in a little bit, what's left in here will be mostly clean. All right, next we're going to try the power steering fluid. If I can find a place to stick my bottle here where it's not going to... See, that's the problem. The bottle dumping over is definitely an issue. We don't want the bottle to be laying on its side. So, and that seems to be the only way the bottle wants to go, huh? Is on its side. Can we just... There we go. Stick it right there. Now you can see what the power steering fluid looks like. It's definitely a little discolored. We're going to pump this all the way down completely to empty. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not awful, though. I mean, you can see through it. It's still relatively clear. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I would definitely say replacing it with that good AMSOIL is definitely going to help things out a little bit. We're almost done, guys. We've already got the slave cylinder done. We've got the master cylinder done. Now we're doing the power steering. We've already done the coolant. We'll move on to the oil here in just a little bit. Then all that's left is the rear diff and the transaxle and changing the battery. We're not going to be able to change the belt because I didn't realize it, but the belt still hasn't come in from Rock Auto. It's missing in action. Let me pump away on this for a little bit. Up, I think. I think we're almost at the bottom. So here is the new transmission fluid that I'm going with, the AMSOIL ATF. And we're just gonna gently, very gently kind of, let's turn this around a little bit where I can, there we go. Hopefully not make a mess. Look at that beautiful, beautiful color. I'm gonna continue doing this off camera very slowly, delicately, and make sure I don't overfill it. And then I'll show you what the old fluid looked like. So here is what came out of it. And like I said, it's not the worst, but you can clearly see that's not pink. It's more of a brownish color. You know, even when you hold it up to the light, that's pretty dark, guys. So I'm glad to get all that out of there. That was super easy, not difficult at all. And I know we did not get 100% of any of these fluids out, and that's fine. I'm gonna drive it around for 1,000 miles-ish, and then I'm gonna do it again. And by that time, everything should be good and cleaned out. So let me try to figure out what I wanna work on next. For comparison, I accidentally overfilled the power steering just a smidge, and you can clearly see the difference between what is coming out of it now and what was in there just a little while ago. I think that's going to be good enough. I sure hate wasting perfectly good fluid, but you definitely don't want these things overfilled. All right, now that we got those fluids changed out, which again, super easy, I think the next couple things we need to focus on are the oxygen sensor, which is the downstream sensor on the passenger side, needs to be replaced, and the battery. I can't seem to find the battery. It was here. It seems to be missing now, but I know it's here somewhere. Before we do the battery, we'll want to make sure that, number one, the car is unlocked, and number two, we want to make sure the trunk is open. And we want to make sure the doors are open too, because if I remember correctly, everything on this car is electronic, doors included. Listen, see what I mean? You definitely want to make sure you've got everything open and ready before you disconnect the battery. Look at that license plate. Dale Earnhardt, baby. Yep. All right. And the battery for this car sits, well, it sits right there. Super easy to get to. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's supposed to be a fifth one, but it's missing. I don't know what those are. Maybe T25, T30s? We'll find out in a second. We'll get a light. I'll find the battery. We'll come back, we'll get this thing swapped out. All right, let's roll around to the back here. This battery seems awful small. It's the right group size. It's a size 31, or size 34, I'm sorry. But this is 800 and 1,000 cranking amps, 800 cold cranking. This one is 660 cold cranking. That doesn't seem like it's enough. Anyway, there's a nice little cover here once you take it off. And by the way, to get it off, these are T30s, and they are a bear to get out. I don't know why, but these things are these things are a bear to get out. Once you get those T30s out, pull the cover off. You've got this little locking tab, which is a 13 mil to pull it out right there. Once you get out, you got 2 10s, a 10 on the negative. Like I said, make sure doors and everything are open at this point, guys, because you could run into a problem. All right, there we go. We should be able to just pop this battery right out of there. We'll have to test this. I'm curious if it's good, because when I first got the car, it was having the hardest time starting, man. It's like, and then it'd pop off. So I'm not sure if this battery's actually any good or not. I just assumed it wasn't, so I grabbed a new battery. Good thing I've got my trusty little Foxwell tester here. This is a BT100 Pro. These things are stupid cheap, guys, and they're a blessing to have. If you're interested in getting yourself one, well, I will put a link to this bad boy down in the description below. Sitting at 12.38 volts. Battery test, out of vehicle. This is regular. Cold cranking amps on this are what, 660? No, where is it? Cranking amps, cold cranking amps, yeah, 660. So let's crank it up just a little bit. And let's see if this is a good battery. And just like that, it says it's a good, ooh. It says good recharge. Well, that's a problem, because this thing is only measuring 490 cold cranking amps. 490, guys. 490 cold cranking amps to start an 8.3 liter V10. I'm going to say no. That's not good enough. Let's test this one. This battery has been sitting around for a while, guys, probably close to a month this battery's been sitting here. So cold cranking amps on this is 800. All right, battery test out of vehicle. This is not an AGM, right? Oh crap, is this an AGM? No. No, this is an 800 cold cranking amps. So let's crank this bad boy up and we'll see what this one says. 800. Hopefully it measures close to 800 since it's brand new. Oh, very nice. Rated 800 cold cranking amps, measured 856. And that's with it obviously being a little low on a charge there, guys, because it's been sitting for a while. So very nice. I think this battery having double the cold cranking amps available to that battery, I think that's going to make a huge difference for this poor 8.3 liter V10. And when you're done, everything is put back together and it should look about like that. So I'm not going to close the trunk yet because if I do, and something isn't right, we have no power, something like that, this is going to be a big problem. So don't close anything until you have verified. And by the way, guys, this car has not been started. It's been at least a week, maybe a little longer. We've got juice, that's good. Make sure my clutch is working and brake pedal since we changed all that fluid. Fired right up, not a problem. Oil pressure going straight to the roof. As you can see, it's nice and cold. Voltage looking good, well over 14 volts. I like seeing that because with the old battery, it seemed like it was struggling. It was definitely hanging out below 14 volts. So very nice. Brakes feel good. Let me just check that clutch. Yeah, clutch seems to be nice, working like it's supposed to. She sounds great, guys. I want to drive it home. I really want to drive it home. Power steering. Yeah, power steering works good. So everything that we mess with is still working on this car. Now I'm going to fire it up one more time. Not an issue, man. Cranks over perfect. Exactly the way you'd want it to. Turn on the headlights, fog lights, even with everything on, we're still sitting above. We're still sitting above 14 volts. That is excellent news, guys. So I guess now, before the engine gets too hot, we can focus on something else. What else do we want to get done today? I still haven't put the new tires on it. Those are sitting at the house. I'll make sure the door works before I close the trunk. Perfect, no issues. I say it is safe to close the trunk on this thing. There we go. I just love that Earnhardt plate. I know it's a Mopar, I know it's a Dodge, and people are probably thinking that doesn't make sense, but I love Dale Earnhardt, man. I sure did. I got the same plate for my Monte Carlo SS as well, because that's a little more fitting. Okay, so we've got most of the fluids done. The only two fluids left are the transmission fluid, the rear diff fluid. Those honestly shouldn't be that hard. Oh yeah, we're going to do the oil and the oil filter too. We got to change the oxygen sensor as well. Goodness, I still have a lot to do, don't I? All right. Why don't we get it up in the air? Let's change the O2 sensor before this thing gets super hot. And then to change the oil, we got to get it up to operating temperature to put the flush in it. So we might as well go ahead and do that after we do the oxygen sensor. All right, I want you guys to see, we got all new oxygen sensors in there. See that one? Nice and pretty. That one is kind of hiding. Let me see if I can get you up in there so you can get a better look of it. There it is. Brand spanking new oxygen sensor right there. And on the other side, of course, we did the same thing. Brand new oxygen sensor right there. We did that in a different video and in the same one there as well. All of these are factory original equipment NTKs. To change them out, well, a combination of a 22 wrench and vice grips. And that's all I'm going to tell you. A 22 and vice... Ow, son of a bitch. I'm tired of hitting my damn head on that thing. Here's the one that came out of it. Honestly, doesn't... I mean, it doesn't look that bad. It wasn't throwing any codes or anything. We only had one bad oxygen sensor. and I decided to go ahead and change them all. If you've got one throwing codes, one's that's giving you problems, go ahead and change all 4 so you've got a nice matched set. Now, let me get the light that I conveniently forgot. I wanted to see if we got any oil leaking since I changed the valve cover gaskets, and good news. Take a look up there. Clean and dry, guys. Yes, no more oil leaks. How about that? So I'm very happy. I knew that's what it was. I knew that it was the valve cover gaskets, and it definitely was leaking something fierce. Now, let's take this plate off. This looks like it's going to be probably T30s all the way down. And then back here, I think we get to some Phillips also. Yeah, we got Phillips on the very back. The rest of these are T30s. And, God, I want to get rid of this exhaust so bad. That Ballinger exhaust, or Bellinger exhaust for this, with the headers, complete exhaust, high flow cats, ceramic coated, runs 50% cooler, and adds 50 horsepower to the rear wheels. 50 wheel horsepower. $4,200. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't care so much about the 52 or the 50 horsepower to the rear wheels. The car's got plenty of horsepower. It doesn't need any more. I'm not worried about that. But a better sounding exhaust, yeah, that would be really nice. Lightweight too. It weighs, I don't know, like 20 or 30 pounds less than this exhaust system does. It's just $4,000. Guys, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, but I'm tempted. I'm on the edge. I don't know whether to do it or not. So do me a favor, drop a comment below right now and tell me. I mean, we're talking headers, high flow cats, everything. And it'll change it from this crazy weird exhaust that goes wrapping around both sides and up under the car. And it changes it to where it comes from the engine straight out the side. That's it. It's there, flows out, and you're done. None of this other crazy snake stuff going on under there. It makes the car lighter. It adds horsepower. It makes the car run cooler, and it also makes the interior of the car a whole lot cooler as well. Why? Well, because instead of having pipes that run under your seats and run all over the underbelly of the car, everywhere, it just runs from the engine out. It goes from the block right here, and it just comes right out the back. If you guys want to see that, if you want to hear this Bellinger exhaust on the car, drop a comment below and hit the thumbs up button. Well, before I go much further, these are T40s all the way down, and then you got some Phillips screws, and to get this off, they put this little heat shield right there below the drive shaft. How cute. And there are Phillips screws. Whoa! Phillips screws holding the rest of this in, all right? But here's something I noticed that I thought was a little odd. Grass. Like wheat looking grass. I don't know. Very bizarre. And lots of sand. Now, it did come from Florida, but I am a little curious. How did we get so much grass under here? It's almost like this car went off-roading or something. You know what I mean? Let me get the rest of the Phillips screws out, and maybe we can get to this. Here's your fill plug right there. Castrol Centorq 2 is what it originally called for. Like I said, that has since been changed. I don't know where. Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know where the drain plug is. You would think the drain plug would be low on the bottom. Oh, there it is right there. Super easy to get to. That trans mount, though, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think about that. She looks, well, I think she's seen better days. That's something to maybe put on the list for another time. All right, well, moment of truth. We can finally get under here and take a look around. I don't see any leaks at all. Very nice. Like I said, your drain plug is right there. Your fill plug is right there. Now, I think this has a skip shift eliminator because these cars will typically want you to go straight from second to fourth gear. And this one should do it, but it doesn't. So, I don't know. That mount definitely looks suspect, if you ask me. But good news, guys. Nothing looks like it's leaking. Look at this drive shaft. Isn't this interesting? Such a stubby, it's a teeny tiny stubby little drive shaft. And here's all that. I don't know what this is, guys. It's insanity as far as exhaust goes. That's absolutely crazy. But now we can get up here. We can see the differential. We can see the axles, the boots, everything looks really good. The suspension, thankfully, not leaking, even though the struts are older. It's not. There's no fluid leaking out of the struts or anything, so that's good. The only question I have is we have 2 plugs down here. I can't imagine that they're both drain plugs, so I'm going to have to Google that. And then up here is the fill plug, and it says limited slip lube only. And then you've got another plug even higher up. What is that one? Like, I'm a little confused what all these plugs are, guys. So I'm going to have to do a Google search real quick, try to figure it out. But overall, man, everything under this car looks really, really good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start from the rear differential, I guess. I don't know why I'm just choosing to. 3/8. It's going to be one of these, I don't know what you call it, like an Allen head, something like that. 3/8 is going to work for both of these. Always take the fill plug out first. And if you're lucky, a little bit drips out to let you know that it's still full. If you're lucky, nope, that is not the case. All right, well, we'll set that aside for now, and we'll, oh, that smells, well, that smells, that's, whoo, good night, man. Yeah, no joke, that stinks. God, I hate this. I hate the smell of gear oil, guys. We'll take this plug out first, and nothing. Oh no. Okay, that's okay. I watched another guy do this. He ran into the same problem. Let me see if I can find something to stick in there. It was full of metal, and he said it was clogged up. I don't know that it's clogged up. I really don't. His didn't have much of anything coming out of there. This is the one that it came pouring out of. Oh no. Oh no, guys. What is going on here? This this is not good. All right, so I'm starting to see a drip come out of here. I've got a pick. This is crusty. Oh my. Wow. I mean, don't get me wrong, the fluid looks good. Oh, there's got to be more than that, right? There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, clumps. Chunks. Go on, get out of there. There we go. We're breaking through. We're breaking through. Okay, I don't know what that was about, guys. I truly don't. Kind of gross, the chunks that were coming out of it. However, the fluid itself, well, the fluid itself looks fine. All right, before we get too far with this, why don't we go out to the light and let's see what landed in this pan. Not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned, guys. You see that stuff right there? This right here is what looks like chunks of metal. I mean, I can't be sure unless I get my magnet out. Why don't I grab a magnet? Because, yeah, like, seriously, I am definitely a tad bit on the concern side right now. Now, here's the thing, and I know this is going to sound naive, and it's probably more so just wishful thinking. Where is my daggum magnet? There it is. First, let's find out if this is metal. Yeah, that's metal. So is that. Huh. So that's metal that came out of my rear differential. And there's more. There's right there. There's more. There's more there. Yeah, there's more. Oh, well, you know, here's the thing. Whoops. And there it goes all over the floor. Boy, there's quite a bit of metal in there. All right. I mean, but here's the deal, guys. The rear diff isn't making any noise. I haven't had any problems with this car, nothing major. The rear diff, I've had no noises, no vibrations. No, nothing from this thing. Nothing at all. And when I watched another gentleman do the same job on his Viper, he had the same problem with his, and he was very concerned. He had parts coming out of it, just like I did. It was clogged up with metal, just like mine was. He filled it back up and went down the road. Apparently, his was just fine. So if you guys have any insight on what that is and why, not just myself, but another gentleman on YouTube also had the same problem, please drop a comment below, and let's cross our fingers that I'm not going to need a rear end. This, very simple to use. 75-140. It's got a little top that you cut off. You push it up there and you just squeeze the bag until it starts, well, spilling out of that hole. And then you're done. AMSOIL with these little pouches makes it so easy to do this job. All right, it held just under 2 bags, probably like 1.5, maybe 1 3/4 bags of the whatever it was, 70 or 90, 140, whatever it was. I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? Even if it does end up needing a rear diff down the road, and look, it's even got a Viper on the cover. How cool is that? This is not the most difficult rear end to swap out, guys. I mean, seriously, look at it. You got a couple bolts with mounts right there. You got a couple more up there, right? And one right there. And that's it. A couple axles pop out. This is not like a super difficult job to do. Probably not cheap, but definitely not a super difficult job to do. I'm keeping my eye on this, making sure that we don't have any leaks. It looks like it's full, so now I think we can move on to the transmission. And again, I'm fairly certain somebody installed a skip shift eliminator up here. Now, the first thing you want to do is always break loose the fill plug. And by the way, on this one, it's just a ratchet, just a 3/8 ratchet. Get it up there, and hopefully no metal comes out of this. Hey, look at that, clean fluid. That doesn't look like ATF. That looks like somebody has already done this. Take a look at that. I don't know. Castrol Centorq LT. Maybe that's what it's supposed to look like. So now that we got that off, let's come over here to this side. If we can scoot this back just a hair. Let's bring the light over here as well. And let's see what comes out of, yeah, that definitely, it looks like oil, for sure. Oh, shit. Motherfucker. Great. Great. I don't know about you guys. Nah, that's gear oil. Somebody's already changed the fluid in this with gear oil. So this has already been done. That's all right, though. It doesn't hurt to do it again with some fresh fluid. Thankfully, on this one, no metal pieces, no chunks. Nothing is clogged up. It's flowing nice and freely. As you can see, it, you know, made a mess. This is a perfect time for me to grab my Super Clean product. Thank you for sponsoring the channel, Super Clean. By the way, if you guys need any cleaning supplies, I can't recommend Super Clean enough, because I'm always making messes in my shop, and they're always hooking me up. Not only do I have all the, we've got wheel cleaners, we've got concentrated degreasers, we've got spray degreasers, we got foam degreasers, but that my favorite product that they have is the shake stuff for the floor absorbent. Guys, that stuff makes quick work of cleaning up messes like this. And by the way, this is what I'm talking about right here. Looks exactly like this. Makes quick work of big messes like that. They're always hooking me up. I'll put a link to that product down below. Oh, and before I forget, while we're talking about sponsored content, this is what I use to clean my hands. No joke. Like, my hands are covered in gear oil. I literally spray my hands down with the degreaser. I take this rag right here, I just wipe my hands off. I don't have to go inside and wash up or anything. I just rinse myself down with some Super Clean, and I'm good to go. Links to both these products down below the video as well. Okay, we've got the Super Clean sprinkled all over the floor. We're gonna let that absorb. That's thick oil. It's gonna take a while. This is still draining. That's gonna take another minute or two to finish up. And then we're going to refill it right back in the fill hole with, like I said before, the manual transmission and transaxle gear lube 7590 from AMSOIL. Again, in the nice little squeegee bag. Makes it super easy. Well, I think that just about does it, guys. We got to change the oil still. We've already done that in another video, so I don't think I'm going to show you that process. But we'll come back here in just a minute when I'm done. As you can see, I got to clean this this up from the fill plug where it dripped down a little bit. But we have all new fluids. Every fluid in this car is now fresh. And I'm a lot lighter on fluids over here, guys. I used just about everything that was in there. Like I said, still got to change the oil. I'm going to do that right now. And then, guys, I think we're done. Now, while I'm letting it warm up, the directions say the car needs to be at operating temperature. And then I pour the flush into the engine. Then I let it run for 15 minutes. And then I can change the oil and the oil filter. I wanted to address something. That noise, honestly, it's not that bad. You hear it chattering though, right? Now, like I said before, man, I was terrified on my first Viper. I was terrified. I thought something was wrong with it. It turns out it is not. And I know there's several people in the comments that say that's not normal. It is. Trust me. It's the way these cars are, man. It's not the end of the world. Reset my radio. As you can see, gauges are all coming up nicely. Temperature is almost up to 200. So it's getting close to be able to pour in our Liqui Moly Proline engine flush. And she's purring like a kitten, man. She's running so good. Get that new set of tires on here. Probably take it in, get a fresh alignment since I'm gonna have brand new tires on it. This thing has come so far in such a short amount of time. And I'm still very happy with the car. Again, I bought it for $39,000 and I've had several people tell me that it's gonna cost me at least $10,000 to bring this car back around to where it needs to be. And I'm sorry, guys, I have spent a little money on this car, but $10,000, I'm not seeing that. I don't know where that number came from, to be honest with you. The tires, I think for the full set, I don't know, they cost me like $1,800. That's my biggest expense yet, is for the tires. Those tires were crazy expensive, guys. So yeah, about $2,000 for the tires. You know, all the other parts, the plugs, wires, the coils, the intake manifold gasket, oil filters, coolant, upper and lower radiator hose, all of the fluids. You know, you start adding all of this stuff up. I did pay quite a bit for these fluids. I don't remember how much it was, $300-$400 maybe for all of those fluids. We're still a long way from $10,000, guys. I paid like $140 for the battery that we put in it. You know, you add all this stuff up, and I probably got another $600-$800 in parts that are under the hood right here. That's not $10,000. I don't know where that number came from. $10,000 to bring it back to life. By the time I'm done, I expect I will probably have somewhere around 44, maybe 45,000 tops. I really think I'm going to be closer to $44,000 all in on this car, and that includes taking it down to Brian at the Auto Spa and having it properly paint corrected and ceramic coated. New tires installed, everything done. I think I'm going to be into this thing for around $43,000, maybe $44,000. In my opinion, for a Viper, that is an incredible deal, guys. Now, that does not include if I decide to slap on a $4,000 exhaust. Obviously, that's going to put us way over if we decide to do the exhaust. I enjoy the car the way it is. It sounds decent. I would just like to have a little bit more out of it. I can't make up my mind on that. So again, guys, if you want to see the exhaust, the Belanger exhaust, over $4,000, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button and drop a comment below and tell me that you want to see us install that expensive exhaust. Otherwise, I'm probably going to leave it as it is. Now that the car is good and heated up, it is time to add our 2 bottles of Liqui Moly. Hopefully we can do this without making a mess. There we go. Just in case you're wondering what it looks like, not too shabby. We'll go ahead and dump these 2 in here. I'll fire it up. I'll let it run for about 15 minutes, and we will change out this oil and the filter. And I'm going to call that a wrap for this video. Guys, it is getting crazy late, and thunderstorms are just now rolling in. It's been thundering and lightning. It's got to be like 2:30 in the morning, maybe pushing 3. Oh yeah, she's coming down. Lovely. All right, well, we're gonna open this door because I don't want to suffocate to death. We're gonna go ahead and fire this thing up. It says it is 2:30 in the morning. like I said, it's late. I got an hour drive back to the house. Let's fire this thing up. Oh, this car is just getting all the treatments lately, isn't it? 15 weight 50 now. Should see that oil pressure jump up pretty quick. There it goes. I pre-filled the oil filter. I'm surprised it took that long for the oil pressure to come up. I did. I pre-filled it. I was hoping we could take it out for a ride now that we got everything done. Voltage is good. Temperature is still pretty warm, guys. It's definitely still pretty warm. Oil pressure is looking great. Let's climb out. Let's take a listen to this engine. I still say I hear an exhaust leak over here somewhere. In fact, now that the engine is quieted down, you can actually hear it a little better. Yeah, I don't know. I've looked all under it. I don't see any carbon all over the place, so I'm not sure where it's coming from. If it's an exhaust leak at all, it could just be the way this thing sounds. Next, in the next video, I think we're going to do the plug wires, and we're going to do the coil packs. There's 2 of them. There's one right there, and then there's another one back here. So we're going to have to disconnect the fuel rail, disconnect the wiring harness to the intake, pull this off. We'll take all of this stuff off, get in there, change the coils. I've had a lot of people asking me, why am I wasting the time and money changing the coils? It's only got 46,000 miles. They're probably going to last forever. And you're probably right. Let me tell you why I'm going to change the coils. I'm going to change the coils because in order to get to the spark plug wires, I have to remove the intake manifold, and that's where the coils are. It is very hot under the hood of this engine. I bought original equipment coil packs to go back on this. So we can throw those in the trunk, save those for a rainy day, so to speak, and we'll have them. But this way we've got brand new coil packs, brand new plug wires, brand new intake manifold gasket to go back on this car. Golly, it's really coming down out there, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're not taking the Viper out in that, guys. I think we're expecting possible tornadoes, hail, damaging winds, you know, all the great stuff that Oklahoma gets. Like I said, I got a hour drive home, and if you're worried about Roxy, I put her in the house. I actually put Roxy in the house somewhere like 9:30, 10 o'clock whenever I first got here. So she's inside, she's safe. Don't worry, she's gonna be all right. Better off indoors than out here in this, whoa, and out here in this mess. Hey, whoa, okay, now I'm starting to get wet. Hey now, come on. The idea was to open the door so I wouldn't choke to death, not open the door so I could flood. All right, guys, the car is running like it's supposed to. Looks good, sounds good. My floor's got water just pouring in, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut this now. Good night, man. It is really coming down out there, guys. Wow. All right, I'm gonna let this thing run for just a little bit longer. Make sure everything's up to temp. See, I don't hear that noise on this side. Hear that? I'm telling you, there's a slight exhaust leak somewhere on this side, which gives me an excuse to buy that expensive exhaust. So I have all new everything from the front to the back, everything brand spanking new. Oh man, I love this car. I do. But you guys know me. It's probably just a matter of time before she goes up for sale. Just like the last one, I was terrified of driving it. I didn't want to mess it up, didn't want to break it. Wow. She's angry. That's for damn sure. She is angry tonight. Wow. I might ought to check my phone, man, just to make sure I don't have any naders heading my way. Give me a few minutes, guys. I'm gonna let this thing warm up, and then I think we are going to call it a night. So as it turns out, there's a tornado heading right for me. 2 of them, actually. One of them is right here in Wayne, headed my way, and then there's another one right here in Stratford. Stratford, Santa. I hope Santa's all right. Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have any tornado shelters out here. This is great. This is perfect. I just got back from vacation literally at 4 o'clock in the morning. So less than 24 hours ago, I've been home. I've been working all day, and now I'm gonna get ended by a damn tornado out here in Byers, Oklahoma. You got to be kidding me. All right, guys. I think I am going to. I think I'm gonna call it a night. The temperature is up to where it should be. Coolant temp's up to almost 200. About 200 on the oil temp as well. Oil pressure is around 50 psi, which is great. And I just remembered there's one more thing that I really need to do to this car other than the plug wires and the coils and possibly putting a new exhaust on it, and that is my oil cooler lines. They run over here to this oil cooler assembly, sits under here, and these two hoses run back to the engine block, and they're leaking, both of them. Both of them are leaking. Not like catastrophic, but they are dripping onto other parts, and they're making a mess under the front of my car here. So that's something I'm gonna have to keep my eye on. I found a braided steel pair, I should say. They're about $400. So I'm gonna have to do a little researching and see if I can figure out what it takes to actually change those out. I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. The car is so much closer. I'm gonna take it and get the tires, brand new Michelins. I got Pilot Super Sports for the back and Pilot Sports for the fronts. I'm gonna get those put on without you guys, and I think this car is going to be ready to enjoy summer. Do you hear that? I have a well-insulated shop, and you can still hear all that rain coming through here. I hope to God this place, whoo, tornado, man. Listen, do me a favor, if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see me spend $4,000 on an exhaust for this car, I don't even know why, but hit the thumbs up button, drop your comment below and tell me you want to see it. If you think the exhaust should be left alone because it's fine as it is, definitely drop that comment below and let me know as well. I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon if I survive the night in the next one.